Well, you drift into it in some ways. You just become a hobbyist and collect fossils like I've done, and then go from there. If you really want to be a paleontologist, then if you want to do the university route, you've got to go to university, get a degree, get a PhD in certain parts of paleontology. But vertebrate paleontology, which is everyone wants to get into, that is a very closed shop. There's not many jobs going in universities and museums to be a sort of full-time paleontologist, certainly in this country. America, China, yeah, they're crying out for people. So, but in this country, no. So it's more, I would suggest to anyone who wants to be a paleontologist, then do it as an interest and a hobby first off, before you really want to get into doing it as a job. There's not a lot of money in it, I can guarantee you that. Non-traditional route, yeah, that's interesting, because what I did, to be pretty frank and honest, if you collect fossils like I do from a specific locality, you've also got to know the geology. So what I used to do is to go on to these Bristol University extramural courses. So they used to do courses outside of the university for interested parties, and it may be over a weekend or 3 or 4 days, and you would learn about geology in certain areas and goodness knows what. I then used to go on, Dorset County Museum used to do evening talks on specific subjects related to geology, and that's really, and getting every available book on the subject and learning it from there. Oh, the interns we've had, right, so yeah, we've had interns in the museum. They're doing this part of their outreach from the universities on certain things. These students we've had have been bloody good, to be pretty frank and honest. They were certainly interested. They come up with a lot of ideas, certain aspects of the museum, like one of them did a display showing a sort of section of cliff, showing the alternate mudstones and shells and everything else. So that's really, really good. She also, which was brilliant, tell you she was really artistic, she had a map of Purbeck with a sort of pterosaur imprinted over it, and it looked really, really good. So the interns, yeah, have been good. They're sort of what they want to do later on in life. I don't think they're sure of themselves. They want to do a degree, get a degree, and then decide where they're going to go for their future after that. Whatever we can do for people, we'll do it. If there's anything that if they want to become as a volunteer, or we do now. We've got a lovely girl from Southampton University that unfortunately she can't come here at the moment because of the shutdown, but she's really good. She's come there as a volunteer, and she actually, for her, it's to put down as an experience to work in a museum that a lot of people won't get. So she's come as a sort of volunteer, or we pay her just as expenses. And from that, she gets a good grounding in what she wants to do. In other words, the run of the museum and looking at the fossils, following up that sort of particular, aspect as well. So it's horses for courses. They love coming and working there, and for their perspective, they get a grounding in working in a museum. I would say to anyone who's following that sort of course, whatever you do with it, is actually have a very open mind. Don't close your mind to certain things. In other words, if you're doing a course and some professor comes up with something that you really, not sure of, or don't just accept it fully, find out for your own self. So be inquisitive. Look, do more than the people who are going to make their way in life in paleontology is the people that are not going to sit on their bums and just do the minimum. You really got to get out there, and you've got to be passionate about it. That's an easy question. I mean, okay, coming from a plumbing background, you get all the stress and worry. Now I'm working, I'm out in the field, I collect as and when I can, I'm prepping the material, I'm meeting members of the public, I'm meeting certain specific specialists in the field. It's a dream come true. Yeah, if you can do the same, yeah, go the same route. There's a lot of people who a friend of mine who wants to build a museum and everything, but it's a long, hard road, and you've got to have a lot of luck, and it's not it's the people you know as well, introduction into people who've got a certain amount of power. So it is a lot of luck to do it. But yeah, I mean, people 20 years ago, friends that because I was passionate about it then, on the sort of where I worked on the buildings and everything else, and people laughed, and they laughed and laughed and laughed. Oh, still ain't got your museum. Oh, I see, it's still not built. and we've got it. So if you've got a dream and a thing you really set your heart on, it can, you know, can happen.